Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. So we are waiting for 5 minutes so that others can join this call. Thank you. We're going to start in the next 3 minutes. Yeah, good evening. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We are starting in the next 2 minutes. Please, the second person, write your name. In the next 2 minutes, we are starting. Okay. So we're starting now. Thank you so much for joining and welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking about the difference between statement of purpose, personal statement, and motivation letter. Yesterday we talked about statement of purpose and personal statement. So yesterday's on we went deeper into how to craft these essays and we gave some examples. I gave some real life examples. I read some of my essays yesterday. So today we are also including motivation letter. So the objective of today's class. So today's class, by the end of today, you'll be able to understand the key difference between statement of purpose, personal statement, and motivation letter, and know when and how to use each of them. Then the second objective is you recognize the right writing approach and the correct tone and structure, as well as the content you are expected to give for each of these documents. The third objective is to help you to identify other mistakes that people make so that you can learn how to tailor your own to avoid these mistakes, how to tailor it specific to each application. Then number four objective is you see real world examples on how to craft each of these documents. And number five is to help you gain confidence in your writing, to develop the right approach to write all these documents. Sometimes it can be challenging if you want to start writing, you don't know where to start, you're overwhelmed, you have a lot of ideas in your head. How do you write it? So today we are going to help you to be able to do that and to do it well and confidently. So without wasting much of your time, we are going to go into the application and the differences between these documents. So some universities, they ask you for personal statement. One thing you should understand is that the major things that most universities ask is your statement of purpose for the admission process. If you're applying for admission, now I'm not talking of scholarship because some schools have separate application for scholarship. If you're applying for admission, the most important document is your statement of purpose. That's what most universities will ask you for the admission. And like I said yesterday, statement of purpose has to be professional, and you talk about your academic and professional experience. So it has to be like use a formal tone for it. Like use a formal tone. You talk about both your academic and your professional goals for the statement of purpose. Your personal statement, like the name implies, personal. You talk about your personal journey. So most of the time during application for scholarship, what they ask for is your personal statement. Admission asks for statement of purpose most of the time. Then the scholarship we ask for your personal statement. They want to know, because they will judge your acceptance, they will judge it based on the statement of purpose you submitted for admission and the personal statement. Yeah, Priska, welcome. So the personal statement is going to show your own personal journey, your struggles, your motivations, your personal journey. Then motivation letter. Some universities, they ask for motivation letter instead of statement of purpose. Like yesterday, I mentioned in my Erasmus application. That Erasmus, it's motivation letter that they asked for my admission. They didn't ask me for statement of purpose. They asked for motivation letter. So motivation letter, as the name implies, motivation. So what is motivating you? Motivation letter should be more passionate. Like motivation letter should show your passion for that particular course. Why did you choose that particular program? So it's more about the passion behind it. So statement of purpose, you detail your academic and career oriented histories in the statement of purpose. You talk about why do you want to pursue this particular course. You talk about your previous academic background, your previous professional background related to that course you want to apply for, your research interest, and how the course aligns with your long-term goals. These are the things you apply in your statement of purpose. For example, if you're applying for masters in artificial intelligence and maybe your undergraduate, you did BSc in computer science. So in your statement of purpose, you have to talk about that your BSc in computer science. You talk about different projects you have done, that is, or internships or works that you've done that are related to that artificial intelligence, to show why you are switching from that computer science to artificial intelligence for your masters. You talk about your future goals. Maybe in the future you want to work with Google or all those big tech companies. So you are going to show it how your BSc relates to that course you want to apply for your masters, and then your future career goals, how all of them are linked together. These are the things you show in your statement of purpose. Then personal statement. You use more of storytelling in personal statement. I talked about creating a hook yesterday, whereby you engage your readers from the beginning. They will get engaged till the end. So when you are telling your story, focus on your personal experiences, your life experience. This one is not more of academic now, it's more of personal. Show your experience, your challenges, how you overcame these challenges. That's when I said use STAR method: situation, task, action, result. Then talk about who you are as a person. They want to know who you are beyond academics. Who are you? These are the things you include in your statement, or sorry, in your personal statement. These are the things you include: your life experience, your challenges, your how you overcame the challenges, your passion, what makes you a suitable candidate for this particular scholarship. Maybe you grew up in hardship, and how it fueled your desire for social change, and how you started doing so many social work or advocacies, and then your vision, how you intend to use that your masters to create a change. Do you understand? So the tone for personal statements is always narrative and engaging. So more of a storytelling. This is also the opportunity where you share your leadership journey, your leadership experience, your advocacy, or other things you have done. That it's not like you may not mention your academic, but you can mention it, but still, as the name implies, focus more on other parts of you that is not about book. For the SOP, statement of purpose, the tone is formal tone and structured, and most of the time SOP is always between 500 to 1000 words, most of the time. Then personal statement, most of the time, is between 500 to 750 words, most of the time. That's the range for personal statement. And the tone is narrative and engaging, storytelling tone. That's what you use. Then we come to the next one: motivation letter. What is motivation letter? First of all, a motivation letter is a passionate letter that helps you to explain. Like in your motivation letter, you explain why you want to join a particular program or a particular scholarship or a particular university. So most of the time motivation letter is shorter, because it shouldn't exceed 1 page. Most of the time it's shorter, but it is more persuasive. Like, how will I put it? Like if you're persuading somebody to do something, you're persuading them to give you the program. So it is more persuasive, the tone that you use to write motivation letter. And one key difference in motivation letter is that you start it with a salutation, because it's a letter, motivation letter. You can start with addresses. If you want, you can include addresses. But most importantly, you start it with salutation: their scholarship selection committee, or their admission committee. Then you start writing. The one I wrote for Erasmus, I remember that I wrote addresses there. So sometimes you can include address, sometimes you can include salutation only. That is enough. But the other ones, you're not putting any salutation, motivation, personal statement, SOP, you're not putting any salutation. But for motivation letter, you start it with a salutation. Why are you interested in this program? for that my Erasmus, I talked about the program I applied for was Economics of Globalization and European Integration. So I had to talk about my passion for that globalization. So let me get the SOP. I hope it's still in this my device. So give me a few minutes. I just hope I find it. I don't think I can find it now, but I'm going to look for it later. I'll look for it later. So it's going to be part of the document I'll compile for SOP, personal statement, motivation letter. I talked about the document yesterday for $5. So if you're interested in getting it, you send me a DM, you get your own copy. I'll compile examples, different letters, not just my own. I'll also get from other people that already got the scholarship, those of my friends that are already scholarship holders. So I'll compile all these documents. So if you're interested, you send me a DM, you get your own copy for $5. So let's continue. You talk about why are you interested in this particular program or this particular scholarship. Like I was giving an example with Erasmus. Remember, you are going to 4 different countries. I guess maybe that's why they ask for motivation letter. So they want to see your passion. Why do you want this scholarship? So I talked about the globalization part of it because it's economics of globalization and European integration. I talk about trade, inter trade, how you can get workers from other countries, like to come to your country, bring in workers from other countries. There's a way I mentioned, I coined the message around that globalization aspect of it. Then what makes you a good fit for the scholarship? How does this opportunity align with your career goal? I remember that I showed this in my own application because I talked about my organization, TeamUpcyclers, and how I intend to establish a textile upcycling company in Nigeria and how I intend to hire workers from around the world, both from Europe. I talked about a particular company in Europe that is doing that thing I wanted to do in Nigeria. I mentioned the company in I think it was in Germany, and how I intend to, through my studies, I intend to understudy them to see what they are doing. Maybe during internships, I'll intern in one of these textile companies, see what they are doing, and then know how to bring back those knowledge to my own company in Nigeria. Then get workers from Europe and other part of the world to come to Nigeria to work for me when I start the company. So this is my future career goal, what I wrote in my Erasmus motivation letter. So if you are okay, so once you talk about what interests you in studying in European countries, that's for that Erasmus. But if you are not applying for Erasmus, maybe another scholarship that asks you for motivation letter, talk about what interests you to study in those particular countries. Highlight if there are specific professors. Yeah, I remember I mentioned one of the professors, and in fact that was one of the people that interviewed me. He was the course convener. So there was a particular program they are doing that has to do with inequality. So I mentioned how that work. They're doing some research around inequality, labor, um, displacement. So I also showed how that work they are doing is related to what I'm doing in my organization and how I've even won award for diversity and inclusion because of the works I'm doing in the IDP camp and how I would like to be part of that particular program, which is led by that professor. I mentioned his name. So those are the things I included in my Erasmus motivation letter. So also show how the scholarship will help you to contribute to your country. Like I said, I mentioned how I intend to, during internship, to understudy those textile companies and to come back to Nigeria to implement what I learned. And most of those equipment, I'll get them from Europe back to Nigeria and then get workers from across the world to come and work. So what are the differences? If you have your pen and paper, you need to note down these things. What are the key differences between statement of purpose, personal statement, motivation letter? Number one difference is the focus. The focus. Statement of purpose is focused more on academic and professional goals. Personal statement is focused more on personal journey and struggles. Motivation letter is focused on passion for a specific program. Your passion for a specific program. I just shared my own passion for that economics of globalization and European integration, which I applied for through Erasmus. Then the next difference is the tone. Statement of purpose follows a formal and structured tone. Personal statement follows a narrative and engaging tone. Narrative and engaging tone. Motivation letter follows a persuasive and enthusiastic tone. What's the length? Most statement of purpose are between 500 to 1,000 words. Even if they did not tell you the word count, just know it. It shouldn't be below 500, shouldn't be above 500. Sorry, it shouldn't be more than 1,000. Personal statements are always between 500 to 750 words. Even the SOAS personal statement, when you're applying for scholarship, that form cannot take, it can't even take up to 750. It takes around 720 words or so. So personal statement between 500 to 750 words. Motivation letter between 500 to 700 words. And remember, motivation letter always starts with a salutation. Dear selection committee. If you still have enough space, you can include address if you want, but it's not a compulsory component. So what are these documents used for? Statement of purpose are mostly used for admission to your MSc, PhD, or research, whatever course you are doing. It's more of admission. Personal statement is mostly used to show your leadership or your character base, depending on the scholarship. Like Chevening, Commonwealth, those scholarships, they ask for personal statement. So when you're applying for these scholarships, in your personal statement, you show all the things you're supposed to show in your personal statement. Then when you apply for admission in those schools, you apply with your statement of purpose, because that's what most schools ask for. Then motivation letter. Some schools ask for motivation letter instead of statement of purpose, depending on which one they ask you for. Some scholarship also ask for it. So what are the common mistakes you are going to avoid? Number one, don't use the same essay for all applications. Yeah, I remember I said I applied for economics of globalization and European integration. I didn't use that same essay. I did not use the same essay to apply for my MSc in economics. In fact, even now that I'm applying for MSc in economics, for PhD in economics, I've applied to how many schools? Queen Mary University, Cambridge, LSE, SOAS, then one other university in Germany. Still economics, yes, I'm applying for economics. I did not use the same write-up for all of them. I did not use the same write-up for all of them. So what I do is, depending on what topic I want to research on, that's what I coin my write-up around. If I want to research on agriculture and economy, I coin my topic, my write-up around that area. If I want to research on gender, I write it around that area. If I want to research on displacement, I write it around that area. I even mention my proposed dissertation or thesis, whatever I want to research on. So don't use the same write-up for everything. Don't use the same write-up for everything. Don't be too generic. Include some personal stories so that it will not look like AI generated content. Because if you tell AI to write for you, AI will write it. It will be generic. There will be no human reasoning into that. Let there be some personal things that is just about you and not about others that you include in your write-up. So don't just write something that is generic, something that is plain, or maybe you got a template online and you edit it and use it to write your own. Let it just guide you. A template is like a guide. The next one is, don't write your statement of purpose like a personal statement. This was one of the mistakes I made when I started applying for scholarships newly. I don't know the difference. I thought all of them are the same. When they ask for statement of purpose, I'll be telling my personal story there, which is wrong. So don't use personal story for your statement of purpose. Also, when you are writing motivation letter, don't write it as if you are writing statement of purpose or SOP. Your motivation letter should be compelling. Like, let it be, you are convincing them. You know how to convince somebody, right? That's how your motivation letter should be. Also, don't ignore the scholarship or the university's values. Like when I applied to SOAS, SOAS is known for development because it is the third university in the world for development. This is one thing that the school is known of. I had to include it in my write-up, in my statement of purpose. You talk about it because my proposed dissertation is related to development of Nigeria. It's related to how to develop Nigeria. So I showed it in my write-up that because this school is ranked third in the world when it comes to development, and my projects, my ideas, whatever I want to do is related to development. So this is one of the reasons I want to study in this university. Do you get it? If there are some research facilities in that school, like the CODEF, I think it's the CODEF is in SOAS, or linked to SOAS, a research facility where they do stuff related to climate, environment. I mentioned it in my first, in my, I think, yeah, my statement of purpose for admission. I mentioned the CODEF because I'm doing stuff related to climate, and I would like to study my PhD in SOPs because I have to engage with that Center for Climate and whatever. So that is it. So show the values of that university. Align your interests around that values. What's this school known for? Align your interests around it. If there is a particular thing that fascinates you about the country, you can also mention it as well. So for your statement of purpose, you start it with your academic background, your research interests, and conclude it with your career goals. For your personal statement, use the storytelling approach to start it, highlight your challenges, and end it with your vision. Your motivation letter, you have to be persuasive, express yourself, be enthusiastic, and explain why you are the perfect candidate. So what are the final takeaways for this class? SOP is more of academic and professional goals. Personal statement, more of your personal story, your challenges. Motivation letter, more of your passion and how you are fit for that program. So thank you so much for joining. And if you have any question, comment, feel free to reach out to me. If you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe. And then you have to, like, if you need informations, updates on scholarships, I've compiled a document that contains all the scholarships that are ongoing. You have to get your own copy so you don't get lost when you're looking for scholarship. This is a document that you can look at and see all the scholarships that you're going to apply for. Get your own copy, and the website where you can find the scholarships, different categories of the scholarships, so you can know which one you are fit for. Then the next one is the personal statement, statement of purpose, motivation letter. If you need copy of winning personal statement, SOP, motivation letter, these are the ones that have gotten scholarships, or at least to interview stage. If you need copies of these documents, it's also for $5. You send me a DM after this class. So thank you so much. I would like to see you all in the next class. So tomorrow, don't fail to join tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class is very, very important, more than everything else, because we are going to talk about how to write your academic CV. A lot of people are using their work CV for their application to scholarship. You need to come and learn how to structure your academic CV. Academic CV is different from work CV. That's what we're talking about tomorrow. Then I also share examples of academic CV and Europa CV. You know Europa CV, that's what the Erasmus asks for. So you are Erasmus, just make sure you attend this class tomorrow. We'll be talking about the Europa CV and our normal academic CV. So if you are interested, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, try and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you can know when we start. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. West Africa time. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all in the next class. Bye.